Hey guys, I'm making this for people that don't know anything about the Bible. They don't know anything about the book of Revelation, and they can't understand why all of us are saying that this stuff is gonna happen. I want to make this video as simple as possible. The reason that I am coming out and saying to you right now that an asteroid is about to strike and a solar flare is about to hit, and from that, the New World Order is going to take over the entire planet and everyone is going to be microchipped. And the reason I'm telling you that is because the angel Gabriel told us that, St. John told us that, and Jesus told us that, and it all fits together. And why do I trust Gabriel, Jesus, and John? Because they have told us all of these things that have already come true. Okay, so Daniel lived back in 5 or 600 BC, okay? And Gabriel told Daniel that there would be 70 periods of 7 from the decree to restore Jerusalem until the anointing of the holy. It's standard knowledge among people that have studied this book that came true. There were 70 periods of 7, 490 years from this decree that went forth in 457 until Jesus, okay? Again, he told Daniel there'd be 1260 days or years, because the days can be translated to years as well. In the Bible, it says a day for a year, okay? So there were 1260 years that the Vatican went on their murderous rampage, the Crusades. They actually admit to these specific years right here in their Vatican documents. You can Google it. They admit that they murdered millions of people during this time period, and it comes out to exactly 1260 years. Not only that, Gabriel told Daniel the exact number of years from the decree to create the country of Israel until Obama's birth and the first year of his presidency. Not only that, Gabriel told Daniel way back here the number of days from Obama's inauguration until the idol of terror was placed in the One World Trade Center, that steel beam that he signed, and also told him the exact number of days from the inauguration until the Feast of Trumpets that year. Not only that, St. John wrote way back in 95 AD the exact astronomical configuration that would occur in the sky on October 16th, 2012. The next time it happens is in 2454, and the last time it happened was in 1570, and these were not even exact. This one is exact, and as exact as you can get, okay? That is just in a nutshell why I am saying to you that I believe what John said about what is coming up next, okay? So this is what John wrote in the book of Revelation. This is a very simple outline of the book of Revelation. We have the 7 churches, we have 7 seals, we have the rapture description here. Excuse me, has 7 trumpets. We have a multitude walking in the holy city for 3.5 years. We also have 2 witnesses or 2 churches that are prophesying on the earth for 3.5 years. We have a sign in the heavens. Then we have the rapture mentioned again here in Revelation 12, along with the war, a great war that's going to happen. Then we have the rise of the New World Order, which Daniel called it the beast. Everyone is microchipped. Then we have 7 plagues. Then we have the judgment of the New World Order, and then the bride returns to the earth. The bride is those who are raptured. The reason that they're referred to as the bride is because they don't fight in this war. If you were going to go to war, would you bring the women and children? No. That's why they call those who are raptured the bride, because they do not fight in this war that's coming to the earth. So the basic backbone of the book of Revelation is the 7 seals, the 7 trumpets, and the 7 plagues. So I've simplified this into this timeline right here. These are the 7 seals, the 7 trumpets, and the 7 plagues. Now you'll notice that the 7th seal, the 7th trumpet, and the 7th plague all match. They all talk about the thunder, the lightning, the voices, and the earthquake. In addition, The trumpets and the plagues match 6 out of 7 times. So we've got the sea turning to blood right here. The rivers and the fountains right here. Something happening with the sun here in the 4th. A torment on the 5th. Something happened with the Euphrates on the 6th. And thunder, lightning, voice, and earthquake on the 7th. So when we look at this book of Revelation in a linear way, in a one-dimensional way, in other words, just in its length, it doesn't quite make sense because the trumpets happen supposedly way before the plagues and etc. So why do they match? Well, because it's not linear and it's not one-dimensional. Maybe it's two-dimensional. So if we look at it in 2 dimensions, meaning both length and width, then we find it makes a little bit more sense here. We have the sea turning to blood, the rivers and the fountains, something happening with the sun, the torment, something happening with the Euphrates, and the thunder, lightning, voices, and an earthquake. And then we can clearly see that up here on the seventh event, 7th seal, thunder, lightning, earthquake, thunder, lightning, earthquake. So I made this spreadsheet here to kind of explain it a little bit better. So first we have the white horse, the conqueror. Next we have the red horse, the war, the black horse, the monetary system, the pale horse, death. We have the slain souls that are resting for a little time. Then we have, in the 6th seal, we have the earthquake, eclipse, mountains and islands moved. Then we have thunder, lightning, voices, and an earthquake. And this goes all across the board. So this, on the 7th seal, is when the trumpets and the plagues start. And then they count down. They go from 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Maybe. I haven't figured it all out yet, but I just want to present to you guys what I found and then show you why I think it's talking about a solar flare and an asteroid strike. We know that the plagues happen in one day, and the reason that we know that is because down here, and feel free to pause. This is my timeline of the book of Revelation. Feel free to pause this and read through it. It just kind of simplifies it in an outline, and it's not complete by any means. This is just preliminary. But when we get down here to Revelation 18, we'll see that it tells us that the plagues happen in one day. So the plagues come in one day. This is talking about the Vatican, but I'm not going to get into that right now. The plagues come in one day and in 1 hour. Remember, Jesus had said that he would come like a thief in the night suddenly. Well, why would it be suddenly? It's not gradual. People keep thinking, oh, it's going to be gradual. We're going to see signs. Well, yeah, you're going to see signs, but this event is going to come suddenly like a thief in the night. That's because it happens in 1 day and 1 hour. So if the plagues happen in 1 day and 1 hour, then and the trumpets match the plagues, then the trumpets happen in 1 hour as well. So we know that the trumpets start at the 7th seal. So if the trumpets start at the 7th seal, then so do the plagues. So what we have is at the 7th seal, the trumpet and the plagues happen. And the trumpets and the plagues are describing an asteroid strike and a solar flare. Let me explain. And that makes sense because an asteroid strike and a solar flare would happen suddenly in 1 day and 1 hour. So here we go. It doesn't quite match up 2-dimensionally, so does it match up 3-dimensionally? So what I did was I don't have 3D software, so I just created this circle to represent a sphere. So this is what I'm trying to represent. I'm trying to represent a spherical ball here, and these triangles go all the way around this ball. Okay, so this circle represents a sphere, and it represents the north pole of the sphere. Okay, so try to imagine that with me. The seals happen over a long period of time, but then they end here on the 7th, and then that's when the trumpets and the plagues start. So you can imagine this as a Fibonacci sequence. First we have this first seal, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and then finally at the end is the 7th seal which is when the asteroid strikes and the solar flare hits. So what we have is these all go around, and then here it starts right here, and then we count down. Trumpet 6, trumpet 5, 4, 3, 2, and then 1 is in the same square. Now the reason that I have the first and the last in the same triangle is because it tells us in the very beginning of the book, I am the beginning and the end. So the white horse comes at the beginning and it also comes at the end. The white horse in the beginning is the false one. The one in the end is the true one. So I am the beginning and the end. I am the first and the last. So that's why this is separated into 6 squares. Because if you remember, several months I went over this timeline right here, which is in Genesis 6. It talks about how humans are alone on the earth for 6,000 years. And the first 1,000 years, Christ is here. And then also in the 7,000th year, Christ is here. So the 7,000th year is holy. 1 day equals 1,000 years. There's, humans are alone for 6 days, and then the 7th day is holy. So the first is the last. The first 1,000 years are the last 1,000 years. So the first is the last. I did the same thing with the trumpets to see how it would fit, to see if the puzzle would go together well. So what I found was that not only do the trumpets and the plagues all match together, but the plagues all seem to be describing a solar flare, and the trumpets are all describing an asteroid strike. So the first thing we need to understand is, why would an asteroid strike and why would a solar flare hit? And what you need to understand is that the magnetic field would have to weaken for that to happen. The magnetic field is the reason why we don't have asteroid strikes and solar flares all the time. It protects us from that happening. But what's been happening, what scientists have been talking about, is how the magnetic field of the Earth has been weakening. Okay, so if the magnetic field of the Earth weakens, then we're going to be more susceptible to solar flares and asteroid strikes. So, and also if it reverses, and there's a lot of talk about that, whether it's magnetic or not, a magnetic reversal would be the magnetic field would just weaken. Anyway, the point is, I noticed that these plagues, when you put them right around the North Pole right here, it actually makes sense, because solar flares enter in through the polar areas. Okay, so like if you look at this right here, this is a little from physics.org. It shows protons coming from the sun, and they're going in at the north and south poles. So if a solar flare hit the Earth, it would enter at the polar region right here. So if we look at this and we imagine this as the polar region, look at all of the plagues around that. Sun scorches the Earth. People with the microchip get sores on their body. Now imagine if, you know how Michio Kaku and all these other scientists have talked about how there was a massive solar flare that's expected to happen in 2012, 2013, and he was saying how it could burn out all the transformers in the electrical grid. Well, imagine if you had an RFID chip under your skin. Revelation is telling us that the people with the microchip are going to have sores all over their body, and they'll be in torment for 5 months. So look what we have. The sun scorching the people, pain and sores, the Euphrates River drying up, and the sea and the rivers turning red. Well, why do seas and rivers turn red? Really quick. I have it in here, but you can go back and look at it. But the seas and the rivers turn red because of algae and bacteria. And the reason that happens is because of a lack of oxygen and warmer temperatures. Exactly that, a solar flare. This is describing an asteroid strike. The trumpets are describing an asteroid strike, okay? And an army coming out of Iraq. Where is the Euphrates? The Euphrates is in Iraq, okay? So when this asteroid hits and this solar flare hits, an army's going to come out of Iraq. World War III is going to start. The New World Order is going to rise and microchip everybody. A bunch of people are going to die because the rivers and fountains become bitter. And that's basically it. That's the story. But just remember, it only lasts 3.5 years. I'm out of time.